right here. Ow! Protect your out. We put the work in. Let's finish. Come on, man. Let's do this. Family, I'm doing 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
You see, we dream chase, because that's all we was given to start with. Then we realized the dream was obtainable. Now look at us.
What's going on, Eagles Nation and TMTP family? Welcome back to another episode here on the Main Thing Podcast presents. It's your bull, Mr. Owns. And after further review, the call stands. I'm still official with no stripes. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, thank you again for tapping back in here with the Main Thing Podcast presents. Your presence and your time here with us is truly appreciated. Now, look, I'm telling you right now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, this week has been loaded with Philadelphia Eagles news. We're talking about a major trade update involving Arthur Juan K, a reported offer from the New England Patriots, 2 massive NFL trades that could actually benefit our Philadelphia Eagles, a new coaching hire for Nick Sirianni's offensive coaching staff. Plus, I've been hearing it's some bees or something, but it's some buzz. The latest buzz surrounding Maxx Crosby, and finally the possibility of Trey Hendrickson joining the Philadelphia Eagles pass rush. So look, buckle up because you don't want to miss this. But before we dive up into all of that, to our loyal supporters, thank you. Y'all know it's all love. The Main Thing Podcast presents can't happen without the support from y'all. And to our new supporters, welcome to the community and our family. Let's continue to do our part for the community and our family. Please continue to like the videos. It does help with the visibility of our channel in the algorithm. Disrespect that comment section. Share and subscribe to the community and our content. And last but not least, you know what to do. Make sure to turn on them noties and keep your ears and eyes peeled to the streets like your local neighborhood watch. Wow. So you don't miss when me and Big Hus drop this pressure on y'all. So look, let's start with the biggest headline surrounding the Eagles right now. We got to talk about this gentleman right over my shoulder right here. Y'all see him right there? That's the Arthur Juan K trade rumors. League chatter has picked up surrounding the possibility of the New England Patriots making a run at Arthur Juan K, especially with the combine being finished up. And on March 11th, that starts the league new year. So, you know, it's going to be a lot of chatter surrounding Arthur Juan K. Now, why would the Patriots even want Arthur Juan K? It's simple. The head coach of the New England Patriots, Mike Vrabel, previously coached Arthur Juan K in Tennessee, and he's always been extremely high on him as a player. That connection alone has fueled speculation about a potential reunion. Also, if you didn't know, Arthur Juan K's childhood team growing up was the New England Patriots, and then his idol was Tom Brady. So it all makes sense. But here's where things get interesting, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages. Even though there's been talk about the New England Patriots being interested, a trade is actually very complicated and complex financially for our Philadelphia Eagles. If Philadelphia traded Arthur Juan K before June 1st, the team would absorb over 40 million big ones. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 M's in my bank account in dead cap space, which will be extremely difficult financial hit for the Philadelphia Eagles and Howie Roseman. Even a post-June trade would still leave the Eagles with a significant cap impact and delay the ability to use draft assets immediately. And you know how Howie Roseman likes to will and deal get all his draft compensation and use those picks to benefit and continue building our team from top to bottom. We are one of the most well-rounded teams in the NFL, and that is because of Howie Roseman, because of Jeffrey Lurie, always going all in. They know here in Philadelphia, we want to win Super Bowls. So Howie Roseman always gives us the opportunity and the roster to win Super Bowls here in Philadelphia. But what does this all mean, Mr. Owens? In reality, the Eagles would likely require a massive trade package to even consider moving off of Arthur Juan K. And let's be real here, family. We all know that Howie Roseman isn't for the fairy tale endings when it comes to other teams. He's for the fairy tale endings here in Philadelphia with the confetti falling down and us hoisting Super Bowl Lombardi trophies. So we know that Howie Roseman isn't just going to pivot off of Arthur Juan K because another team or other teams desire Arthur Juan K's services. We know that Howie Roseman is always going to think in the best interest of the Philadelphia Eagles. We know also that Arthur Juan K is still one of the most dominant receivers in the NFL today. He's elite after the catch, physical, explosive, and one of QB1's most important weapons on the offense. So again, unless a team comes with something absolutely crazy, astronomical, mind-blowing, it's hard to imagine Howard Roseman moving off a player of Arthur Juan K's caliber. Right now, this feels more the league interest and speculation than something that the Eagles actually are planning to do. But we'll definitely keep monitoring this situation. Now, let's shift to the Eagles coaching staff because the team has officially added Jerrod Johnson to Nick Sirianni's staff. Welcome, Jerrod Johnson. Johnson has spent the last 3 seasons as the quarterback's coach with the Houston Texans down there with C.J. Stroud and DeMeco Ryans, a former Eagles linebacker, where he helped develop one of the league's young quarterbacks. But here's something that's really interesting about this hire. Jerrod Johnson was actually one of the finalists for the Eagles offensive coordinator job this season. He has interviewed twice for the position, one time back in 2024 when he lost the position to Kellen Moore. Boy, oh boy, do I miss those days on offense with Kellen Moore, especially when we had the witness with our offense in 2025. It was despicable. It had me appalled. But this tells you that the Eagles were already very impressed with Jerrod Johnson. Instead, the team, of course, hired Sean Mannion as offensive coordinator. But the Eagles clearly liked Johnson enough that they said, you know what? Let's bring him in the building anyway. And there's also a connection here. Johnson previously worked with Nick Sirianni on a coaching staff, so there's already familiarity between them. He also has experience with offensive line coach Chris Cooper in Minnesota, which adds another layer of continuity. And one more interesting detail and fun fact, Jerrod Johnson actually spent time with the Eagles during training camp as a player back in 2011. That feels so long ago, but I actually remember when he was on the team during Andy Reid's tenure here in Philadelphia. Jerrod Johnson had an amazing career at Texas A&M. So, in a way, this is a full circle moment. Now he returns to Philadelphia as a coach. And from a big picture standpoint, the Eagles are clearly loading up on their offensive brain trust with multiple creative voices. Again, we see relationships and connections continue to evolve in Philadelphia. We know as an organization, if you have a connection somehow with Howard Roseman, with Jeffrey Lurie, or somebody who is prominent in the Eagles organization, as a player, as a coach, we typically try to bring you in because we love familiarity here in Philadelphia. Now, let's talk about the two major trades around the league that could indirectly help our Philadelphia Eagles. First up, the Kansas City Chiefs traded star cornerback Trent McDuffie to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for multiple draft picks, including a 2026 first round pick. That is a massive move. That is the Rams saying that they're going all in to go and try to win a Super Bowl. McDuffie was an all pro caliber defensive back, and the Rams clearly believe they're making another aggressive push. Then we have another trade. The Chicago Bears are finalizing a deal to send wide receiver DJ Moore to the Buffalo Bills in exchange for a second round pick. I believe the Bills got DJ Moore in a 2026 fifth round pick, while the Chicago Bears received a 2026 second round pick. But why does this all matter for the Philadelphia Eagles, Mr. Owens? Because when contenders around the league start making moves like this, it reshapes the balance of power. The Rams strengthening their secondary affects the NFC. Buffalo adding another weapon affects the AFC playoff picture. And for the Eagles, it creates more clarity around who the real contenders are moving forward versus the poser contenders. This is exactly the time of year when Howard Roseman is watching everything. I still see him when he was at the combine with his binoculars like this. Howie don't miss a beat. He's like an eagle for real in the sky. He got that eagle eye. Because if other teams are making big moves, the Eagles can always respond with one of their own. That's not something that Howard Roseman is not foreign to him. Howard Roseman goes for what he wants and goes after what he wants. Also, this helps the Philadelphia Eagles in our case, because if DJ Moore if the Chicago Bears fetched a second round pick for DJ Moore, I can only imagine what Arthur Juan K can fetch in a trade if he was moved from the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Howie has asked for a huge package pertaining AJ Brown, Arthur Juan K, and the Patriots did offer a first and a third, but just like Kendrick say, but it's not enough. You're going to have to come up more off of that if you want the services of Arthur Juan K. So Howard Roseman's package request is reasonable and legit, because Arthur Juan K is easily still a top 5 receiver in the NFL. Respect to DJ Moore. I like DJ Moore. He's originally from Philly, so you already know I got the love for all of our Philly brethren. But DJ Moore is nowhere near Arthur Juan K and the caliber receiver that he is. So again, if the Chicago Bears were able to get a second round pick, I can't see why we won't be able to get a first or even more regarding Arthur Juan K if he is in fact moved. But now let's get to a name that us Eagle fans have been talking about for a while, and that is Maxx Crosby. The Las Vegas Raiders superstar pass rusher has popped up in Eagles rumors before, and speculation has occasionally flared up around whether Philadelphia could and should pursue him. Now, at this point, nothing concrete has materialized. But if there is one thing we know about our Philadelphia Eagles front office, it's this: Howard Roseman is always, and I do mean always, looking to strengthen the pass rush. He loves the trenches. He loves the offensive line and the defensive line. He feels that when you build up the line, and then you build up the defensive line, you can fill out the rest of the roster, but games are won and lost in the trenches. And if a player like Maxx Crosby ever does become available, you can bet your bottom dollar that the Philadelphia Eagles would at least pick up the phone and make that call to the Las Vegas Raiders to inquire about Maxx Crosby, because elite edge rushers are some of the most valuable players in the entire NFL. Could you imagine a line with Maxx Crosby, Jalix Hunt, Jordan Davis, Jalen Breadman Carter, Moro Ojomo, Byron Young, Nolan Smith? The list goes on and on. Okay, but that will be one of the scariest defensive lines and for more formidable defensive lines in the NFL if that in fact happens. I'm all on board for getting Maxx Crosby here. We all know that after we put paws and boots and stepped on the neck of the Las Vegas Raiders this past 2025 season, how Maxx Crosby sat down and gave love to the city of Philadelphia, saying that it's gritty, it's grimy. That's the type of team and organization as a kid when you're playing in the backyard and you're dreaming that you wish that you go and play for and hope to play for. Maxx Crosby already knows, man. Us in Philadelphia, we're passionate. We always support our birds. And look, if Maxx Crosby wants to get to some winning ways, he can come over to this East Coast and get some of this Eagle loving, man, because y'all already know we're here to compete for bowls. I don't know what they were doing out in Las Vegas. They got the nice, shiny stadium and everything, but that's not contributing to wins. We went over here and Maxx Crosby wants in. Also, I saw Lane Johnson with the side eye emoji. Lane trying to get Maxx Crosby to come over here as well and be a part of this winning culture. So if he does become available and the trade package is reasonable, I will definitely take a gamble and roll that dice to get Maxx Crosby in Midnight Green, because that would be a special sight to see for us here in Philadelphia. And speaking of pass rushers, another name Eagles fans should keep an eye on and has been floated around being linked to the Philadelphia Eagles in trade speculation before is Trey Hendrickson of the Cincinnati Bengals. Hendrickson has been one of the most productive edge rushers in football over the last few seasons, even though when we played the Cincinnati Bengals, Trey Hendrickson got shut down by my man Big Fred. Fred had him in a chokehold over there all day, but that doesn't diminish who Trey Hendrickson is as an edge rusher. We're talking about a player who consistently produces double-digit sacks and constant quarterback pressure, something that Vic Fangio craves from his defensive linemen. And if he does, in fact, hit the market in free agency, he will instantly become one of the most sought-after defensive players available. Now, the Eagles already have talent along the defensive line. We already know that. But if there is one thing about this organization, it's this: you can never, and I mean never, have too many pass rushers. That philosophy is a part of what built dominant Eagles defenses in the past, and adding another elite edge rusher would only make that unit even more dangerous. With all this uncertainty that we have surrounding Jalen Phillips' free agency, it's good to see that we do have some backup plans just in case we do lose Jalen Phillips to free agency. I definitely wouldn't mind having Jalen Phillips back in Philadelphia. Of course, it has to be at the right price. I'll say maybe 20 to 25 million. Anything over 25 million, I'll pass on that. But again, if we aren't able to re-sign Jalen Phillips in free agency, I do like the fact that we have Trey Hendrickson available, we have Bradley Chubb available, and then also we have Maxx Crosby available via trade. So whatever happens in free agency, we know that Howie Roseman always has all his ducks in a row, does his due diligence, and is going to continue to improve this roster and get the best player for the roster. So when you step back and look at every single thing that happened this week, here's the big picture for the Eagles. Arthur Juan K's trade rumors are swirling, but financially it would be very difficult to pull off, even for a magician and the best GM in all of sports, Howard Roseman. The Eagles added Jerrod Johnson to their coaching staff, strengthening the offensive brain trust. Major trades around the NFL are reshaping the league landscape, and the Eagles continue to be connected to elite defensive talents like Maxx Crosby and Trey Hendrickson, which tells you one thing: the Eagles are still in win now mode. That will never change as long as Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie are operating the Philadelphia Eagles. We will always be in win now mode. And if we know anything about this organization, which we know a lot about our Philadelphia Eagles, is that Howie Roseman is always in the kitchen, always in the lab, cooking up something. Look at the flick of the wrist. Look at the flick of the wrist behind the scenes. So we'll see what happens next. But one thing is for sure, family, it's never boring when you're following Philadelphia Eagles football. Now, that's the end of our Eagles report for this week, man. We got a lot of news that we got to digest and process here, man, because we already know how this is a pivotal offseason for our Philadelphia Eagles. Okay, it could be a make or break type of offseason for our birds. But be on the lookout for more content. We're going to continue dropping videos for y'all. We appreciate y'all support. It truly means a lot to us here at the Main Thing Podcast Presents family. I hope that you all have been having an amazing week. And if you do have plans for this weekend, as my mama always says, please make smart choices and wise decisions. But before I get out of here, y'all already know, to our loyal supporters, thank you, thank you, thank you. Y'all know it's all love. The Main Thing Podcast Presents can't happen without the support from y'all. And to our new supporters, welcome to the community and our family. Let's continue to do our part for the community and our family. Please continue to like the videos. It does help with the visibility of our channel in the algorithm. Disrespect that comment section. Share and subscribe to the community and our content. And last but not least, make sure to turn on that notification bell, also known as that Liberty Bell looking thingy, so you don't miss when Swoop comes out with the Eagles news and updates. But in case y'all forgot who I go by, don't worry about it. I'll kindly remind you, I go by Mr. Owens, and this is the Main Thing Podcast Presents, where we keep the main thing the main thing. Y'all already know it's always love. Until next time.
It was I was gonna make a lot of money doing what I wanted to do. I went after it, and it was a struggle to achieve it. chasing.